El día de hoy te traemos a un gran guitarrista, ganador de un premio como compositor de jazz. Demos la bienvenida a Gabriel Santiago, un maestro de las cuerdas.
My father was definitely an influence. He plays guitar, he composes music. I did a doctorate in composition at the University of Texas at Austin. I won this award for one of my big band pieces for jazz orchestra. Actually tackle the things that are most giving you trouble at the moment, and that's where you should be focusing on practice.
Hello, Gabriel.
Hello, my friend.
Hello. Welcome to the Cuerda Colibri program.
It's my pleasure. Thanks
Tell
for having
us, Tell us, how did you start in the world of music and who has inspired your journey in the guitar?
All right. I started really early. I started playing when I was 8 years old. I'm 43 now, so it's been a long time. And I'm from a small town in northeast Brazil, and my father was definitely an influence. He plays guitar, he composes music, and he had a friend who was a classical guitarist, and then he wanted me to study properly and have a good foundation because my father is self-taught, so he wanted me to have some instruction. So that's how I started by 8 years old with my father's friend, and then kind of went a long road from there.
You have maybe the degree, career?
Yeah, I before I came to the U.S., I moved to Rio de Janeiro. I lived 10 years in Rio. I went to school there. So I did, I have a degree in arranging music, like popular music, jazz, and I have a degree in sort of a teaching certificate. And then I did a master's degree in Rio as well, in musicology. And then I came to the US and I did a doctorate in composition at the University of Texas at Austin. So I did.
It's the PhD, no?
Yeah, it's a Doctor of Musical Arts. It's a composition doctorate. So it was a lot of studying, for sure.
Okay, your specialization is in jazz music, no?
Jazz and Brazilian music, yes.
Jazz and Brazilian.
Yeah.
What is the difference maybe in the jazz and Brazilian music?
Well, there is a lot of similarities, but differences. The rhythms, of course, are different. How we sort of see the beat and the tempo, like in Brazilian music, and we play as we call in straight eights. And jazz has the famous swung 8 notes, like the swing, right? So if I'm playing a line like this, like that's straight eights, right? If I play swung,
Yes.
right? There's a big difference in when you approach the music. But there's jazz in straight eights as well. But they're very different universes, but there is a lot of common things in there. So I try to leave where they meet, together. I try to be there in that intersection.
Can you play maybe a song, the jazz music, please?
A jazz song? Yeah, sure.
Yes, please.
There is a classic jazz standard named Stella by Starlight. It's a famous one, right? Something like that, right? So what I usually do, I try to put that into the Brazilian idiom, so it stays something like this. Something like that.
Wow, nice, awesome.
Yeah.
In the Brazilian music, there are different styles, no? For example, bossa nova.
Brazil is a really big country, as you know, and very diverse culturally. So there's such a big array of rhythms and grooves and things, depending on the rhythm you're from, right? So if you're more in the urban kind of areas, São Paulo, Rio stuff, you have, rhythms like samba, Rio, and bossa and things like that. But if you go up to the northeast, where I come from, you have an array of different rhythms like baião. Something like that. There is frevo, There's a gallop. That's just the northeast, and then there's so many more. Then you go to the sort of the middle of the country, there is more stuff, and the sort of the Amazon region has their thing. The South Brazil, like border with Argentina, Uruguay, there's like guaranias and all kinds of something like more like that, compound bar. So it's a really big country, so there's a lot of types of music,
For you, what is the most representative song in Brazilian music, for example?
Well, since I play a lot of like bossa nova and samba and things like that, usually, songs that I'm always asked to play and I'm always playing that are really instantly recognized are The Girl from Ipanema is a good example, right? Right? That song is something that anywhere I play, people know immediately, Brazil,
When you play the maybe arrangement, the jazz music, what another artist maybe in USA or in Brazil, do you prefer?
I mean, I have so many, specifically on guitar or in general, or
Yes. Yeah, in guitar.
guitar. I mean, I would probably spend half an hour telling you the amount of artists that I like, both Brazilian and jazz. The list is very long.
Okay.
I would say guitarist from Brazil, my favorites are Lula Galvão. It's my favorite. Lula Galvão. Romero Lubambo. It's another really awesome guitar player. Rafael Rabelo, I like very much. Yamandu Costa, it's a brilliant guitar player.
Costa, yes.
There's so many. Rogério Caetano, and then like more like jazz and stuff. There's so many like Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery, and the more, they're now all 60 years old now. They're not that young, but Kurt Hosewinkel, Pat Metheny, newer guys. I love Tim Miller. It's a fantastic guitar player. So the list is long. There's so many. I don't want to forget any names, so just quote a few of them because I will have to make a really long list of my favorites.
Yes. Now, please, Gabriel, invite you to discover some of the techniques and styles you use to enhance your guitar playing, please.
Yeah, well, this music that I play and the way I play, sometimes to do the things that I want, I usually kind of go out of the standard technique because the way I play comes a lot from what I'm hearing in percussion. Like a lot of Brazilian music, just as a lot of Afro-Cuban music and South American music, they come from percussion instruments. There's no drum set, it's all percussion and stuff. So the rhythmic part, I usually try to pay attention to these instruments individually, what they're doing, and I'm trying to basically reproduce these instruments in rhythm, in the rhythm of the guitar. So sometimes to play things like a samba, the way I play, let's say. So you see, I'm using a bunch of things there. They're not kind of traditional. So I'm using slaps. I'm using this kind of noise. A lot of percussion. I call it the dust. This.
Yes, it's include the percussion.
Exactly. So a lot of those things are kind of out of the ordinary. Sometimes doing a certain groove, I move my hand a lot and thumbs and kind of get out of the way of the technique because I want to reproduce a certain sound that I am hearing. When I'm doing a groove like a bossa nova, let's say. I can play like that, or I can play like this. You see, there is another layer there that I'm putting on top of that. And that has to do with a lot of percussion. It's very implied, things like that.
La guitarra es uno de los instrumentos más versátiles y favoritos dentro del mundo de la música. Soy Pablo Miño y te invito a que aprendas este hermoso instrumento con las técnicas adecuadas para que puedas dominarlo. Thank you for continuing on your show Cuerda y Colibrí with our guest guitarist Gabriel Santiago. And now I'd like you to share some interesting or funny stories, your experience in your musical career, please.
Funny stories.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can remember. Oh, okay, well, there was a very interesting one that I would love to share. It has never happened to me. And I don't know if it ever happened to anyone, but I will share. Mm-hmm. So in 2013, so 11 years ago now.
Okay.
Like literally 11 years, because it was this week 11 years ago.
Okay.
I was playing in New York with my band, the quartet, in this festival.
Okay.
And the night was going really great, and there was great audience and we're having fun. And then I was playing this song of mine, and I was playing a quartet, so it's drums, bass, guitar, and saxophone.
Oh, yeah.
There was no piano on the band that day, but there were other people after us that played with piano, so the piano was set up there on the stage. Mm-hmm. And I was playing this song of mine, and at the end there's this long kind of vamp that the saxophone plays, and we just go around this sequence of chords.
Okay.
And we kind of have fun, and I was with my eyes closed, just kind of enjoying the moment. And then out of the blue, I start hearing piano. I closed my eyes, and there's like piano playing. I was like, there's no piano in the band. So I looked, and there was a guy sitting in the piano.
Wow.
And he just came up to the stage and started playing with the band. So it was a really odd and strange thing, because I didn't know what to do. Like, should I stop playing and it's like, hey, get out of the stage, or should I continue playing and just kind of pretend he's not there? So it was a really weird thing. And then, I finished the song. I have video of that, by the way. And then I finished the song, and I said, well, this is the song, and this guy on drums, this guy on bass, and whoever you are on piano. So he left, and then at the end of the show, he came talk to me, and then he was saying, man, I'm so sorry I jumped in, but I just couldn't hold myself. The music was so beautiful, I just couldn't resist. I had to go there and play too. So I was like, wow, I appreciate it, the comment and the heart that the music moved you enough to contribute, but you should talk to me first. So there was a very weird story, man. I haven't heard that before, but it happened to me.
You won maybe an award.
Oh, an award.
Yes.
Award, yes. Yes, it was when I was at school. ASCAP, that big publishing company, the performance rights company, they have different awards that they have in their company, and they have one for young jazz composers under 30 years old. So you have to be at least a maximum of 29 years old. And back then, I won this award for one of my big band pieces for jazz orchestra. They picked mine amongst there was like 5 or 6 or 10 winners, and I was one of them. I got this. It's called Young Jazz Composer Award. That's for MASCAP, ASCAP. So I went to New York to receive the prize and stuff. It was really, really honor. It was a big honor for me.
Congratulations, no?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Gabriel, if it's possible, you play another favorite song. The
Yes.
public, please,
Yes.
they see you.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll play a little bit of I'll play a song by the guy I was telling you about, Garoto.
Perfect.
Augusto Aníbal Sardinha, that's his name. This song is called Lamentos no Morro.
Okay.
It's a classic Brazilian guitar song he wrote for guitar, so everybody who is in Brazil and plays guitar kind of play that song. It's like a really famous song, and I have been playing for some time now, so I'll play a little bit of that for you.
Great.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I messed up one part there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You play the guitar, the 7 strings, huh?
Yeah, this is a
The
7-string
7
guitar.
string. It's typical of the Brazilian music.
It is very common in Brazil. Not only in Brazil, but Brazil has a lot of it, especially in rhythms like samba, choro. They always have a 7-string going on. Some of the ensembles have 2 guitars. They have a 6-string and a 7-string in more traditional ensembles. But yeah, the 7-string is a big thing in Brazil. Has been for many years.
Okay, Gabriel. At this moment, please share those final tips that will enrich our guitar skills, from technique or to selecting a repertoire. Maybe. Thank you.
Sure. Well, you gotta make playing guitar if you're really serious about it and want to do it professionally. You know, this is not only your passion, something you love to do, but it's also your job, right? So you have to establish some kind of a discipline in which you must have contact with the instrument, right? You must play every day. Like, there's not a question. If you want to be a guitar player, you have to touch the instrument every day, even if you don't have much time that day. But establishing a routine in which you're always playing with your instrument, that's one thing, right? And just kind of like sparing some time in your schedule to practice. And the best thing I would say about that would be try to split up your practice routine in getting organized into things that you're gonna practice that day, because practice is not just get here and start playing. I get the guitar and I start playing. This is my hands are moving. It's automatic. Okay. So you should devote some time of that to just kind of play like that. But then you should play things that are hard. Not hard because you can't execute, but things that you need to improve on. I'm not talking about playing fast or playing something. I'm saying that the things that you need to improve on, let's say your time, your tempo, or scales, or a particular piece you're working on, they're like, man, I'm having trouble with that. That's why you should be practicing, not what you do well, because you already do well. And the tendency for us when you start picking up the guitar and start playing, it's just playing stuff that feels good, that you already know how to do, right? And you can play a portion of your practice routine playing that to kind of warm up and stuff, but then actually tackle the things that are most giving you trouble at the moment. And that's where you should be focusing on practice, not what you do well. Yeah. That's something that I do.
Okay. When you go, for example, to the concert or to the stage, what do you prefer? What exercise you prepare before the concert? Maybe the classical songs or improvise, or I don't know.
I try to, because a lot of the music that I play is relying on improvisation.
Yes, improvisation.
All the time, meaning making stuff up as I go, having a certain framework, and then like when before the concert, I try to avoid thinking of like playing a song, improvising on it, or being like, that's not the performance yet. So I am trying to just basically keep warm, right? So I try to play, just basically diatonic exercise,
Scales. Okay.
And I start playing that stuff. Okay. And then I start playing chords like harmony, open string stuff.
Arpeggios.
Some arpeggios.
Yes.
But not really thinking of any tunes, just kind of playing chords, and because I'm trying to like not get my mind into the music that I'm about to play. I am trying to just kind of get ready, be ready to play, right? So I just need to move my hands a little bit. So I play some grooves, some samba stuff, I take like a scale like A major, and then I start grooving. Just playing on A major or C or G or whatever, and to put the grooves into it, and just basically some arpeggios and things like that, just to get my hands moving so I'm ready to play.
Okay. When you play the quality sound, for example, what do you prefer for the nails? The large nails or short nails? What is your recommendation?
Question. Good question. Yeah. Well, I really can't give a recommendation because it's a very personal thing. There's some people like to play with a lot of nails, some people play less nails. I happen to have strong nails, so I have natural nails.
Okay.
A lot of my friends put artificial nails because not only because they play a lot, constantly, they need artificial nails. I happen to have strong nails, which is great. In terms of nails, it affects the sound, and sound and tone is something really, really important to me. So I usually don't have like super long nails.
Long.
I don't use super long, but I also don't use them super short. So personally, I want the attack of the nail, like the power and the punch of the nail, but I also want the roundness and the fullness of the the finger.
Is a little inclinate for the string? No?
I try to do a little mix so I can have both.
Yes, both.
So I have the power of the nail and the roundness of the sound.
Yes.
You know, there's also a factor that influences and changes everything for me, which is a lot of times I play with my band. I don't play solo that much. I do play a little bit, but I play with a band. So drum, bass, piano, saxophone. So I'm always plugged in, right? My guitar has two plugs.
2 plugs.
Yeah, because I have the regular saddle
Yes.
here, but I also have an internal mic, and they have separate outputs.
Oh.
So the actual pickup part goes through the computer, and there's a bunch of things I use, imaging and all kinds of, stuff to get a really natural sound, and effects and delays and reverbs and things like that. And then the mic gives a little bit of the roundness of the sound.
Wow.
But the point I'm making is I have a constant fight with sound all the time because I'm playing with drums and bass and stuff. So I can't use a mic like this to sound like,
Yeah.
I have to try to make that through this. That's why I lose a lot of plugins and computers and stuff. But not only that, the technique suffers a little bit. It suffers when I'm playing with a band. Sometimes I'm not that loud. I have to play more loud, so my hands start changing position, the right hand, because I need to play more and more volume, and I move a lot. So it's a constant battle. If I am playing like this on a mic on a studio when it's a more controlled environment, then I can just kind of relax and really think of. But when I'm playing live, I have to rely on a lot of things to help with the sound, especially to push against all the instruments, because I'm playing with drums and bass and things. And our instrument is not really designed to be playing against those instruments. An electric guitar do a better job with volume and sustain. So I have to do a lot of trickery behind me to have a sound that projects like live. And that's something I'm most known for, a live sound of guitar. And I spent and invested a lot of time and decades finding things and the right gear and testing stuff and to get a live sound with a band with this type of instrument. So I like that part a lot, the technology stuff.
It's very important because when I go to the play in live, it's very important the quality sound, maybe the console, computers, I don't know. In the studio, it's very different because maybe it's more control. Maybe the condenser microphone. Maybe
in the studio,
different.
Completely different. If you have a great guitar on the studio, you have a good mic, then you're good. But live, what happens most of the time, especially for classical guitarists who are not used to play plugged in, they have a pickup, like a saddle pickup, and they'll plug in, and then you have the famous quack piezo sound, like horrible plastic sound. Because the piezo is picking up this, right? If you play here, that's what a mic would pick up most, right?
More natural.
If I just start moving my hand, getting to this part, that's what the pickup is picking up, right? So when you play a plugged-in guitar, you have this kind of sound, right? So the first thing I'm trying to do, that's why I have all this equipment, is to get rid of that sound, is to get this sound back, the round sound, but also it's plugged. So it took me years and years and years and modifications and to get this sound, especially also all that with a lot of volume. To play against a band and things like that. So it takes some time to get it right.
What string types you use For example, in the first strings, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, or all strings is the same for you?
I have been using for many, many, many years Diodario.
Diodario. The carbon?
I use a set that they called Pro Arte. Pro Arte series.
Arte.
And within the Pro Arte
blue
series,
color, no?
They keep changing the color, but I think it's blue now.
Okay.
But the model I use that because they have a few different ones within that. I use one called Composite. Pro Arte Composite.
Okay.
So the Pro Arte Composite, they have a extra G string, which is what I'm using here. It's a sort of a brown kind of color.
Yes, brown.
See?
Okay. Is it in G? G string.
G. I use that G because it has more volume.
Okay.
It has more power.
Yes.
And when I play with a band, I need need power. So I use that. That's the regular Diodario. And then for the 7th string, I used to use a Hanabach strings for the 7th string. I use a Hanabach one. There is a set for 10 strings that they sell. I think it's a pink one, and this one is the H, which is B.
Okay.
Recently, I started experimenting with the 7th string by Diodario.
Okay.
I found out that they sell that too. So this one is Diodario as well.
As well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I used different things in the past. I like Hanabach a lot. So those are great strings as well.
Great. Where can people find you on social networks or YouTube channel, please?
Sure. My YouTube name is my name. You just type Gabriel Santiago, and you find my channel there. I'm also on Instagram as my name, Gabriel Santiago. You find me there. My Facebook is official Gabriel Santiago. You're gonna find my page there as well. What else? Twitter. G Santiago Music. That's my Twitter account. X now. What else? My website is GabrielSantiagoProject.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I also have a more of a teaching channels and things like that.
Perfect.
Brazilian Guitar Institute. That's the name. You can find Instagram. You can find the website, which is currently a waiting list. So I'm about to start a program soon. The YouTube channel is also Brazilian Guitar Institute. Wow. You can find it there as well.
Finally, please, maybe another song do you like for the people?
Sure.
Please.
Sure. I'll play a famous one that I get to play all the time and people love and people know this one. It's called Wave by Antônio Carlos Jobim.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Gabriel, for sharing
Very
your
welcome.
valuable knowledge with us. And we look forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing you on another occasion.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.